Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the press conference ahead of tomorrow's game, Team Australia. We have the head coach Bert van Marwijk and player Matt Ryan here on stage. As always, when you want to ask a question, raise your hand. We give you the microphone. Present yourself, your name and media, and also in the language that you're going to ask the question in. And talk about languages. We have remote translation in 3 languages, so you can ask questions in English, Russian, or Spanish. So let's start straight off with the first question. Gentleman in the white T-shirt here in front.
Hi, Neil Custis from The Sun in England. Australia is a very proud sporting nation, but you've just lost 5-0 in the cricket, 2-1 in the rugby. Is there a sense of restoring a bit of that pride with the football?
I don't know. But I only look at our performance and our development. That's not
Just a second. Yeah, put the microphone on.
I only look to ourselves and our performance and the way we try to improve.
Next question, gentleman in the grey shirt. No, there we go.
Hi Matthew, I'm Jean Descotes from French news agency AFP. A question about the game that will be played at the same moment tomorrow. What do you expect from France? Do you expect them to put you in contention for qualification? And don't you fear that they might rotate too much their team to rest their players and that maybe it would help Denmark? What would you say to French players?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm just focusing on us and our team and what we need to do. If we don't go out and do the job that we need to do against Peru, then there's no point even thinking about that France game. But, any team in a World Cup and in France's situation, if they want to finish top of the group, then I presume, they're going to need to go and, win the game. And, if they have any idea to play for a draw, it can be very dangerous. So, it's not my concern. My concern is ourselves here and for our game, and we'll do what we need to, and hopefully the rest sorts itself out.
Next question, the lady just in front of me here.
Inka Blumzeit from ARD Television in Hamburg. I would just like to ask the same question to Bert van Marwijk. What are your feelings about the duel French against Denmark?
You ask the same question and I give the same answer. We're only thinking about ourselves. We have to do the job, and it will not be easy. But we do everything to win that game, and then afterwards we will see.
Okay, next question here in front.
Jai Bednall from news.com.au, questioning English for Bert. Why hasn't
Over there.
Why hasn't Tim Cahill played in the tournament yet?
I'm not gonna discuss here players who play or don't play.
Okay, next question for the NOS.
I'm from NOS, from Holland. Can I ask a question also to the goalkeeper and to the coach?
Yes.
Hello, Matt. In Kazan, I was in the same hotel as your grandpa, and I smoked a cigarette with him, and he told me the story of his life. And I asked him, "Are you alone here?" He said, "No, with my relatives." I said, "How many?" Do you know his answer?
Yeah, it would have been 25, 27, around
27.
that number. Yeah.
More people than the Australian squad.
Yeah, that's, I guess, the influence family has on you. They've been there, along for the journey since I, obviously, was born with my mother, and they've witnessed, every sacrifice and everything that I've had to go through. And, fortunately, the life I live now enables me to, try give back to them a little bit. And, for me personally to share the...
You paid for it?
Yeah, I covered the trip for them. But like I said, for me to share an experience like this with them, it's going to be something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
They too?
Yeah, well, I hope they do, all for the right reasons.
Do you think they will leave after tomorrow?
No, definitely not. Our plan is not to leave, and theirs won't be either.
Dan even naar de coach van
de
de ploeg. Het moet in het Engels, Bert. Weet jij zeker dat Frankrijk gaat winnen van Denemarken? Of hoe
Could you
kijk je tegen die
please,
wedstrijd
like I
aan?
discussed with you earlier, could you please
Oh, in
do it
English. Oh, sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
Thank you. It's because
Yeah, I'm
of the
sorry.
remote
Yeah,
translation.
because
Thank
I
you.
see someone from Holland and I always talk my own language then. What do you expect from France? Do you think that they will win that game? Because they don't have to win.
It's the same question, but they are proud players and they played 2 times and they won, but they didn't play the way they can play, and they are one of the best teams in the world. So I think they wanted to prove it and show it to the whole world. But I have no influence on that. So the only thing I have influence is the game against Peru.
And what do you think about your own team? I mean, do they give more or can more than the last 2 games?
I think the story of Matt says enough. The way he is, says everything about the whole team.
Is your whole family
Okay,
also
now.
here?
Thank
No.
you very much. It's not a one-to-one interview, thank you very much. We go to the next question, the gentleman in the back with a black cap.
Я из России. Вопрос на русском языке. Вопрос
A
к
question in Russian,
голкиперу.
a
Вы
question to the
не в первый раз в
goalkeeper.
России, вы не в первый раз в
This is not your
Сочи.
first
В
time in
прошлом
Russia.
году
This
вы
is not
уже
your
были
first
на этом
time in
стадионе.
Sochi.
Какие
Last
воспоминания
year
у вас
you
об
already
этом городе
visited
и
this
о стадионе
stadium.
Fisht?
What are your memories about the city and about the Fisht stadium?
Повторить?
Should I repeat
Вы
the
не в первый
question?
раз в России, не в первый раз
This
в
is not
Сочи,
your
в
first
частности.
time in
Какие у вас
Russia and in
воспоминания об этом
Sochi.
городе
What
и
are
о
your
стадионе,
memories
на котором
about the city
завтра вам
and the
придется сыграть уже
stadium
во
where
второй
you
раз?
will have to
Спасибо.
play again tomorrow?
Yeah, you know, it's a beautiful city. It's easy to see with obviously the coastline and the views that it has. You know, the stadium itself. Obviously, we had the experience last year in the Confederations Cup in playing our first match against Germany, and yeah, hopefully we can look to use that to our advantage tomorrow. Having a little bit of experience, having played here already, but you know, it's great conditions for a good game of football and. You know, everything we need in order to be successful tomorrow night.
Next question, the gentleman with the glasses in the middle.
Question to Matt Ryan. Matt, you've had more touches than any other goalkeeper at this World Cup, and you made more saves than any other goalkeeper in the Premier League. How do you feel about your role in this team, and do you feel your role is more essential than any other national team as far as goalkeepers are concerned?
I mean, you know, with the other teams, obviously I'm not concerned in you know, the roles that their coaching staff ask of their players, but you know, with the style that we want to play here, I just, you know, do my best individually in order to contribute to, you know, Bird and his staff and what they're asking of us, and you know, I guess it just happens to be you know, a style which asks a lot of the goalkeeper in many aspects, you know, of goalkeeping, playing with your feet and, you know, having obviously composure and making saves and whatnot. And, you know, the guys have done a tremendous, you know, job in front of me in both games and in the lead-up games also. And like I said, I'm just trying to go out there and do my best to contribute to hopefully the success of, you know, the team.
Next question, gentleman just over there.
As Graham Davis from Inside Sport Australia. Question in English for you, Maddie. You played under a 5-man defence with Ange Postecoglou with Brighton Hove Albion. You played under 4-man, and you are again here. What difference as a goalkeeper does it make in terms of organisation, distribution, in terms of the defensive formation?
I think there's other factors that come into mind when playing a different system. It's not just one simple change in terms of the formation. It's, you know, the instructions that you get within that formation also. And, you know, it can vary with any different coach that you have. And, you know, that's been the case with us. One, you know, 5 at the back with Brighton hasn't been 5 with the back with Ange because they, you know, both coaching staff, you know, they ask for different things. So I guess it's a little bit of a, you know, complicated answer to give. There's not really one straight answer that you can give.
Okay, the next question, the gentleman just over there in the middle.
Kieran Pender from The Guardian in English for the coach. How would you rate Daniel Arzani's campaign in Russia, and will we see him on the pitch tomorrow?
I can only guarantee that Matt is on the pitch tomorrow. And but I already said it a few times in the press conference. We are satisfied about his development. He's very young. He is very inexperienced. But he is a type of player with a lot of talent and who can sometimes make the difference.
Okay, the next goes to the gentleman here with the red lanyard.
Yeah, Michael Zapponi from Optus Sport in Australia. Question for Bert. What type of characteristics are you looking for from the player that will replace Andrew Naboot tomorrow? We presume Andrew's unavailable tomorrow.
When I had the choice to choose out so many characters, but that's not the true. I choose for me to choose the player who I think I have the most chance to have result. But all the players know exactly how we want to play.
Okay, next question. The gentleman just on the left there. Yeah. To raise your hand, then the yes. This one.
En español, Hernán Baos de la agencia F.
I have a question
Entrenador,
in Spanish.
¿qué espera usted del
Coach,
partido de mañana con una
what do you
selección que a
expect
priori
from
está
tomorrow's
eliminada? Que bien
You
no podría
are
estar ya
maybe
jugándose
not
absolutamente
advancing to the
nada,
next stage,
pero que en el fondo
but the
quieren
next-
terminar bien con una
the
victoria
other
que no
team
han
is not
conseguido.
going
¿Usted
to
cree que
pass
eso
to the next
dificulta
stage?
el trabajo
They
que
have no
ustedes
chances, but they probably
están
want to give a
planteando
good impression.
ahora,
Do you think this is
habida
going to
cuenta
make
que
your
tienen que
life
ganar
more
también para
difficult
clasificar?
tomorrow, considering that you also need to win to go to the next stage?
I know that Peru is a good team and they showed it already here in the World Cup. Although they are not qualified for the next round, they know it already. I think they will try to give the best performance. So I don't think a lot of things will change when you speak about Peru. There's a lot of people out of Peru here in Sochi, maybe with 25,000. So for them, it's a home, feels like a home game, and so I compare it a little bit with our friendly game in London against Colombia. There were also, I think, 25,000 people out of Colombia, and they play with a lot of passion, and so they are very dangerous. So you have to be very good organized.
Next question, gentleman with the black T-shirt.
Ben McKay from Australian Associated Press. My question's to Matty Ryan in English. Matty, Australia's only made it out of the group stage once before. You stand on the brink of equalling that feat for Australian football history. What would it mean to you and what would it mean for the sport?
Yeah, difficult to find words to describe that. You know, it would mean the absolute meaning why, you know, myself and I'm sure many others play this sport. You know, to be as successful as you can and to try to create as many, you know, lifelong memories through being successful that you can possibly create. And, you know, if we're, you know, successful in achieving that tomorrow, then, you know, I dare say, you know, not only us as players, but hopefully the whole nation of Australia is going to remember that night and that achievement for, you know, the rest of their lives or for a very long time, just as, you know, the team did, you know, back there in 2006 in Germany. You know, I, for one, you know, I'm never going to forget the nights being up celebrating, you know, Australia beating Japan and getting the results we needed to progress, and, you know, obviously all the heartache that followed in that Italian game. So, yeah, that, you know, would mean the absolute world to me, and, yeah, it would just, yeah, show that all the sacrifice and dedication all over the years to achieve something like that. You know, when you achieve something like that, it just shows that it all pays off.
Okay, before we continue with the press conference with the next question, if we can ask the photographers, like normal, to make their way out. Thank you very much. And then we go first, the gentleman in the middle there with a beard, and then we go for the lady over there.
Hello. I'm Timothy Mayman from RMC BFM TV. Question to the head coach. Before the competition, you said that the team of Denmark was better than the French team. After all considered, would you prefer it to be the opposite?
No, I didn't say that. I said they play maybe more as a team. Didn't say that it was a better team. So if you listen very well, I said that France had better players, but Denmark plays more as a team. And we want to be the best team of the tournament, because also we don't have the best players. Until now, we showed that you can give a very good performance when you are really a good team.
The lady with the glasses over there.
Stephanie Browns from Quasar Sport. Question for Bert van Marwijk. Bert, the Australians hope that the team continues for a lot longer, but when the Socceroos bow out, your time with them will finish. Can you sum up for us what the experience for you has been like and what you've enjoyed the most about working with Australia?
Maybe, yeah, I feel already a little bit as an Australian. So no, it was till now very nice to work with these players and the whole squad, and yeah, it feels very good.
Question here in front.
Is that working? A question for Matty about your 27 very special guests at the World Cup. Who's the oldest and who's the youngest in that party?
The oldest would be my grandfather. What was the second part of the question? The youngest? The youngest would be my cousin. Yeah, the age varies from I think 3 years old until my grandfather's early 70s. So yeah, quite a big spread.
Go to the next one. Just
hi. Question
Almost as old as I am.
Bert, your mood seems a little bit downbeat. It might just be that you don't like answering questions from journalists. But how are you going to lift your players and motivate them for tomorrow night? And what would it mean to you personally to turn this around quite dramatically in the last game and get Australia to the last 16?
It's very difficult to explain how you prepare, because there always happens few little things, details, and you can take your advantage with that or not. But normally we will prepare the same as we did till now. And I already said a few times, we want to play in a way that we don't have to adapt all the way all the times to the opponent, no matter how strong your opponent is. And in that situation, we try to develop our own way of playing. Was it nice? Enough.
David Davutovic from the Herald Sun newspaper in Australia. What sort of physical condition is your team in collectively, and what sort of role do you think the conditions will play tomorrow in this game?
My experience with the World Cup, also in 2010, is that the preparation is unbelievably important, and you have to be physical in top condition, and that's one of the most difficult parts, because the players come from Australia all over the world, and they come in several conditions. They arrive. We have to wait for 10 days that everybody was there, and then some players come back from an injury. Some players played every game. So that's not easy, but we managed that the players are now all very fit, and we had a very good preparation, I think, in Belek in Turkey, and that's the key also. And now we have to relax more and get the players enough rest, because the physical power is there.
We get last few questions. The gentleman just there, repeating.
Graham Davis from Inside Sport Australia. Question in English for Bert. You've asked, the players seem to have done everything you've asked for in the tournament so far, the organisation in the first game, and they created the opportunities in the second game, but they weren't scoring the goals, and you would like to see that. Is that something you can actually train, or is that purely instinct?
That's a good question, because that's very difficult. That's hardly to train. You can train it. We do it also. But yeah, that has also to do with real individual special qualities. And so that's the last step. And we work hard on that. And I will hope we will see tomorrow a result in that.
The lady over here.
This question's for Matt Ryan, Jacqueline Magnay from The Australian in English. Just on your group of supporters, have you flown or brought your family to other games before? Is the 27 the largest group, or does someone else in the Australian team have more? And what does it mean to you knowing that they're in the stands supporting you?
It's the first time, other than my mother and my sister, that I've paid for the family to come across and watch. And obviously a World Cup doesn't come around ever so often. And like I said, the chance to share something like this with them, it was a no-brainer. I asked the family members if they were interested, if they were able to come across, and half of them said yes, so half of them is still at home. So that's it's a little bit better for the bank account, I guess. But nonetheless, it's been a great time sharing the moment with them. And like I said, it was all designed in the way that it would become a lifelong memory for all of us involved. And there's nothing better than being able to treat your family well and look after them. And I'm very fortunate and thankful to football for allowing me to do that.
Good. We go for the last question. The gentleman here in the black shirt.
Steve Larkin, Australian Associated Press. Question in English for Matt. Tim Cahill obviously hasn't been seen on the pitch, but can I just ask about his demeanour at training and his influence on the group, even though he hasn't got any game time yet? What's he been like around the camp?
He's been like he's always been. Someone of his stature is always going to be an influential part of the group, and he's been there and on the pitch, been at every facet of the game, achieved a lot of positive things in football, and that experience rubs off on us as a playing group, and his approach to to training and to life and to everything, and his dedication and sacrifice. And I think that all echoes out throughout the whole group, and it's players like him and Marco Bresciano and Harry Kuehl and the players of the past, which they probably learnt from their predecessors also, and it's just fed through the system all the way until us. And he's obviously still an integral part, and if Bert tomorrow thinks that he's going to be playing an integral part in the game, I'm sure he's going to be more than ready to, and like any other member. And hopefully if we call upon them, then they're going to do what's needed in order to help us progress.
Okay, thank you very much, Bert van Marwijk. Thank you very much, Matt Ryan, for attending the press conference. And I'll leave you going now to do the training ahead of tomorrow's game, and good luck for tomorrow's game. For the media, just that you know, the training session will take place at 4 o'clock in the training facilities just opposite the stadium. There will be volunteers guiding you towards the training ground over there. So you can always ask them where to